Are you dreaming of the freedom your freelance business could give you, but something always seems to be holding you back? That was the story of my life until I realized sometimes it's not about adding more to your plate. It's about letting go of the things that are weighing you down and keeping you stuck. Today, I'm sharing the 11 things that I quit to finally help me grow my freelance business and to grow it in a way that feels sustainable and in alignment with the kind of life that I want. If any of these sound familiar, I hope you'll take this as your permission slip to let them go too. Before I started freelancing, I taught yoga for about 5 years. That brought some amazing people and ideas into my life, and yogic philosophy has definitely helped my mindset for the better. But there was one idea that really wasn't doing me any favors, and that was the idea of manifestation. That if I did the inner work and got perfectly aligned, then opportunities would magically fall into my lap. This created a really weird dynamic because I felt like I was constantly doing really hard shit, right? Inner work is really hard, but I wasn't going anywhere, and it made me feel like something was wrong with me as a person. I had to stop trying to manifest success and actually take action toward the type of business and life that I wanted. I found that the more that I take action, regardless of whether I necessarily feel ready, the more success that I have. I used to dream about being my own boss and starting my own business, but when it came to actually doing the work, there never seemed to be a convenient time. I made a very common mistake. I was waiting around for motivation. If you wait for motivation, you'll never succeed. You have to make your business a priority. By the way, if any of these things resonate with you, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. Hearing from you guys always makes my day. The third thing I had to give up was being shy. If you are an introvert like me, you probably relate when I say that I used to be petrified of talking to clients. I mean, the idea of getting on a Zoom call with someone that I've never met before, still to this day, if I think too much about it, it's no thanks. But I just reached a point where I knew that I had to get over it because I saw that the more people that you meet, the more likely you are to find clients. Go figure. I was so lucky to have found a mentor when I started my business, and I had such great results that I guess I kind of thought hey, this is going so well, why don't I go find some other experts to listen to? But all of that did is waste a ton of time and energy because instead of following one person's proven framework that, by the way, was already working for me, I just ended up adding in all these strategies and tactics that I didn't need. It actually caused me to have this Frankenstein of a business for a while that was not sustainable. Those were the Upwork and Fiverr days, and those were dark times. Ultimately, I learned that there is such thing as too much advice. Around the same time that I was seeking too much advice, I was also falling into the comparison trap. I was looking at what other freelancers in my niche were doing, and honestly, all it was doing was discouraging me. If I could go back in time and give myself one piece of advice, it would be to put on blinders. Don't take too much advice. Do not be looking at what everyone else is doing. And here's the thing about comparing yourself to others that really makes no sense, is that those people have a specific goal, and especially when it comes to freelancing, you can really design your business around your life. What they want their life to look like is probably most likely not exactly what you want your life to look like. And that's just something that I wasn't taking into account at that time. About 2 years into freelancing, I decided that I was going to pivot from copywriting to social media management. And I thought that I needed to show my skills by posting on every social media platform. Not just posting, but dominating, posting a ton of content. But the thing about managing social media for a brand is that it can easily become a full-time job. And that's what happened. I ended up burned out and resenting the work, and that's really not a good place to be in when you're trying to grow your business, because when your plate is too full, you will put up mental blocks that push opportunities away. Thankfully, one day I looked at the data and saw that I was just totally overcomplicating my online presence because I saw that I wasn't getting leads from Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, as it used to be called back in the day. All of my leads came from my network or LinkedIn. So let this be a lesson that even a social media manager doesn't need to be on mainstream social media in order to succeed. One thing that my entrepreneurial journey has taught me is that I value originality to a fault. What I mean is that I used to try to do everything myself, even if there was already a resource or a template or a roadmap that could help me do it faster. I wasted so much time and energy trying to reinvent the wheel. There are so many great resources out there and so many people who have done what you are trying to do. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel yourself, why not give yourself a head start and take advantage of the things that already exist and the people who have already come before you? It's not cheating to use someone's template or cheat sheet or checklist or whatever. Take advantage of what's already there because this is your business and your livelihood that we're talking about. Having some weird little mindset thing about being original and doing it yourself, there's no points for that, and that definitely isn't going to fill your bank account. I remember the first year I did taxes as a freelancer, and I zeroed in on the line item that showed how much I had paid to PayPal in processing fees. I became obsessed with trying to find a way to get paid without having to pay any fees. Eventually I realized that the amount of time that I was investing in trying to find a way to avoid fees, I could have just made that much money in revenue and made up for it, and it didn't even matter. That helped me see that it's not worth stressing over every penny. Yes, you should be mindful of your business expenses and know your numbers. You should also be accounting for your business expenses when you set your rates. That way little things like 2.9% processing fees don't stress you out. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I used to teach yoga. Well, that didn't pay the bills, so I also had to be a bartender and a waitress, so at any given time, I had at least 2 jobs. When I decided to start freelancing, it started out as a side hustle, which is great, and I definitely recommend starting that way if you can. The problem is that even once I had some clients, I was still thinking about my business as a side hustle when I probably didn't necessarily need to be. Whether you are freelancing as a side hustle or you just see your business as more of a hobby, I really encourage you to take your business more seriously. Because once I did, it was like the floodgates opened. I've talked a little bit about how I transitioned from copywriting to social media management, but what I haven't talked about is the inkling that I had much earlier on that social media management was the right path for me. So many people told me that copywriting was enough work and that I wouldn't enjoy the extra creative burden of creating videos, editing videos, coming up with scripts, creating graphics. But what they didn't know is that my brain actually works that way. I don't just see in words, I see in full concepts, and I really like to bring them to life from start to finish. When I decided to make that leap and I found my groove, I was kicking myself for not doing it sooner. Not only did I enjoy the creative process more, but because I found my zone of genius, that really boosted my confidence and I had a much easier time getting clients. Do not ignore your strengths. They are the key to your success. I saved number 11 for last for a reason. I've got one take on this one. I can tell you the exact day that I fully committed to myself and my dreams. December 31st, 2019. That's when I got a phone call from a friend telling me that our friend had died. This was someone so talented and so kind that I thought that there was no way that they wouldn't find all of the success that they wanted and that they deserved. But he didn't get a chance to even pursue his dreams. You know, you hear people say that tomorrow isn't guaranteed, but it is different when something happens that makes you feel that in your heart and in your bones. And that awoke something in me that I didn't even know existed. Because when I was really honest with myself, I had been taking steps to create the life that I wanted, but I was also taking my time and my energy for granted and taking people for granted, the people that I wanted to share my success and abundance with. So if there's one thing that you take away from this video, let it be this. Whatever the reason is that you want to grow your business, whether it's to have more time with your family, to create generational wealth, to just have more freedom and flexibility to enjoy life with the people that you love. Remember that every day is a gift that you have been given to make that happen. I'm rooting for you, and I know the people in your life that support you are too. So if creating success for yourself isn't enough to get you to take action, do it for the people you love. If any of these mindset shifts hit home for you, please know that you're not alone. I know how easy it is to overthink everything and get weighed down by things that hold you back. That's why I always try to break things down into actionable steps on this channel. If you need help getting your business going right now, I'll link a video right here to help you do that. This is a simple and focused approach to generating consistent income and building a business that gives you more freedom. How do you end a video like this? I don't know. Thanks for watching, guys.